Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing peel and stick number 1. All right, we are going to be taking some poster board that I got from Dollar Tree and our peel and stick. So the purpose behind this is we want to get peel and stick that looks like a floor. So I've got brick on this particular side of the poster board, and then I also have some peel and stick that looks kind of like hardwood that's going to go on the other side, and so I kind of have some floor looking peel and stick, and then I also have some wall looking peel and stick. In other words, I have things that look like marble, like a marble wall. I also have a few peel and sticks that look like wallpaper. And I got this idea from the Daily DIY'er, and I thought that this was so clever. So shout out to her, to Shannon from the Daily DIY'er. We are going to be making kind of a little photo booth or photo prop area. And so the point is that we're going to have a poster board that has a floor section and a wall section. And you can see here, I didn't edit this part out because I wanted you to see how easy it is. If you make a mistake with this peel and stick, it's so easy to just peel it right up and do it again. So even if you stick it down and you're like, oh shoot, I have bubbles, or this is wrinkly, or this isn't quite look how I want it to, you can just peel it right back up and try again. And it's just as easy as that. And so if you make a mistake, it's really easy to fix. Then I'm just going to take my rotary tool and I'm just going to cut off the excess of my poster board. And then you can see here I am doing the wall part. So this is peel and stick that looks like a marble wall. I guess it kind of looks like wallpaper, sort of. To me, it kind of looks like maybe a marble tile, or a marble, I don't know, almost like a bathroom tile or something, I guess. That's just me though. This honestly could be a wallpaper, but it looks like a wall is the point. And so on this side, I'm gonna put this sort of marbly, tiley, wallpapery looking peel and stick. And it's nice because the edges meet up really nicely and match, and so it makes it looks like one cohesive piece. And you get the hang of this peel and stick. When I was doing the brick, I peeled all the paper off at once and tried to lay it down, and in my subsequent tries, I realized that just doing one side and then peeling as I go worked much better. And then again, I'm going to take my rotary tool and I'm going to cut off the excess of my poster board. It's really easy to cut through this foam board. And then I flipped the foam board over and I'm putting this really pretty wallpaper looking peel and stick on the other side. This kind of has a metallic-y look to it. It's very pretty. Kind of has a almost vine with little flowers on it, and they have a kind of a silver shimmer on it. It's very pretty. And so that's gonna go on this side. And I had 4 pieces of foam board. And so I have two piece sections of floor, and I have two piece sections of wall, if that makes sense. And so I have endless configurations that I can do. So if you have like a little Etsy store where you sell jewelry or candles or things like that, you can make these little photo boards and mix and match how you want to take photos. And I love it. I thought that this was such a cute idea. Anyway, so that's how you do that. Number 2. All right, so we are gonna start with one of those suet bird baskets from Dollar Tree and a foam flower round that you can get in the flower section. And we're going to fit that flower foam round into our suet basket. And this one doesn't quite fit, as you can see. So I'm going to get my pool noodle knife, but you can use whatever, just a regular knife would work fine. And I'm just going to barely cut the little top off of that foam round just so that the top of the basket will close. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the edge of some peel and stick so that I can put some peel and stick right around the edge. And because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this foam round inside the suet basket, and I don't want the styrofoam to show around the edges. And so I'm going to put this peel and stick around that foam so that you can't see the styrofoam when you're looking through the suet basket. Now, learn from my mistake. If I had to do this over again, I would cut out a round piece of this peel and stick, and I would actually put it on the top where I'm going to push the flowers through, because while you can't see it head on, if you're looking at an angle, you can still see little bits and pieces of the styrofoam if you're looking at this through an angle. So if I were to do this again, I would cut around and put it on top of the foam, and I would push my flowers through the peel and stick into the styrofoam, and I think that that would work much better. But as it is, I'm just putting it around the edge. It's kind of this pretty, this also has a metallic-y gold look to it. It's got leaves on it. I'm just going all the way around the edge. And then I'm just going to take my scissors, and I had a little bit of excess around it, so I'm just going to cut off that little excess right there. And then we're going to pop that back into our little suet basket. It's a bit of a tight fit, as you can see. I want to make sure that that peel and stick stays nice and tight around the edges. That's perfect. And then I just took some flower picks and I cut the stems off, and then we're just going to push those right through that styrofoam all the way to the back. And you can just arrange these however you'd like. You can futz with it. Again, this is your piece, so you do with it what you will. I just had these pink and yellow flowers, and then I took some eucalyptus, little eucalyptus stems, and I stuck those around the edges. And I just kind of made a little flower, a hanging flower basket is basically what I did with this. And I kind of moved pieces around. Now what's going to happen, you can kind of see, is you're going to end up with, stems poking out the back. And so what you'll do when you're done poking these through and you're happy with the way that it looks is you'll just take your scissors and you'll just snip off those ends that are poking through. And that way when you hang it, it will hang, fairly level, and it won't poke off from the wall that you're hanging it against. And I just took some ribbon. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I just took some ribbon and I just hung it around the little hanging part. That was kind of a last minute thought for me. Because I had put this together and then realized that you could see the styrofoam, and I didn't like that, so I took it apart so that I could put the peel and stick around it. And so that's how it ended up in my peel and stick video. And so I ended up adding on that ribbon, you know, after I had put it together the first time. But you don't have to add the ribbon if you don't want to. Anyway, but once you're done, you're going to end up with this kind of cute little hanging basket. You can use it indoors or outdoors. If you're going to use it outdoors, I would recommend that you give your flowers kind of a nice little spritz with a UV protectant spray. That will help protect it from, you know, the sun's rays and, you know, them fading and things like that. So I'm going to hang mine inside, so I'm not going to do that, but that's just a thought if you're going to use it outdoors. And there's what it looks like. And I'm actually going to hang mine in my bathroom. And I'm just going to trim off those ends that poke out through the back, and then that's what it ended up looking like. Just a cute little hanging basket. Number 3. All right, we are going to take one of those very popular wooden cutting boards that they have at Dollar Tree, some peel and stick wallpaper of your choice, and we are going to have some handles. And the handles I got from Walmart. They were on clearance, but you can use whatever handles you have. I'm just going to give the top of my cutting board a spray of spray paint. This is kind of a silver color. You can do whatever color you want though, but the silver matched my peel and stick, and so I'm only spray painting the edges and the back side of it, because obviously the peel and stick is going to go on the other side. Then I'm going to let that dry. All right, and here we are. It's nice and dry. Now I'm going to measure my peel and stick. I'm just going to take a pencil and I'm just going to trace around the cutting board, and then I'm going to cut it out. All right, now we're just going to put this peel and stick wallpaper right onto our cutting board. I love it that they have those little tears right in the back. It makes it so easy, so you're not ripping a corner trying to find a place to get it started. It makes it really nice. Just going to lay that down, and then we're just going to peel the other side and lay that side down, smoothing as we go. You can use a tool if you want to. I just use my hands really, and it works just fine. Then I'm just going to take my little X-Acto knife, and I'm just going to go around the edges and cut off any little excess that I have. I didn't have much, but I did go around and make sure that I got any, you know, little pieces that were overhanging, just to clean it up a little bit. It didn't take me very long. Just make sure you have a nice sharp knife and watch your fingers. sticky stuff. Okay, and there we go. So now what we need to do is we need to put our handles on. And since these are gonna go, they're gonna screw in from the underside of the cutting board. And so you wanna make sure that when you're using your drill to put in the pilot holes, you're just being extra careful because the drill is gonna go through your peel and stick, which is essentially paper. And so you just wanna make sure you're going slow, just be careful, go nice and easy so that you're not tearing and ripping the peel and stick from the other side. So I've got one handle on, and I'm just gonna go nice and slow on this end, just so that I'm not gonna accidentally tear a big chunk out of that peel and stick paper. I just wanna make sure that it stays where it's supposed to. Obviously the handle's gonna go on it, so you're not gonna see the hole. But if I go too heavy on this with the drill, it's gonna rip, and I'm not gonna be able to salvage that with the handle. And so I just wanna be careful when I'm doing this. And then the handle goes on the pretty side, the peel and stick side, and the screw goes on that side. And I actually had to have my husband do this for me. I have a shoulder issue I'm dealing with right now, and the dang screw just would not go in. So those are his hands. My arms are not that hairy. So that's actually him helping me screw those screws in. And basically what we've done is we've made a cute little tray out of this cutting board, and it looks like marble, and I think it's super cute. You could design and decorate this however you want to, with on your little bookshelf, as I have it right here. I actually used mine in the bathtub, and I've got little soaps and bath salts and all kinds of stuff on it. Number 4. All right, we are gonna start with a wooden round from Dollar Tree, and we are going to paint it. I'm painting it this kind of tannish, grayish color chalk paint. This is called sandstone. Now, learn from my mistake. Just paint the whole thing. I thought that I was being clever and just thought I was gonna paint everything but the middle, because I was like, oh, the peel and stick's gonna go in the middle, so I don't need to paint that. Just paint the whole thing and save yourself time. Because I had to go back and I had to touch up paint in the corners where it didn't go over with the peel and stick. Anyway, just paint the whole thing. So anyway, your peel and stick can actually go through your printer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to measure the peel and stick, because it's obviously not going to fit into my printer right now. It's too wide. So I have to cut it down to size so that it'll fit through my printer. So that's what I'm doing right now. I just took a piece of printer paper, measured it width-wise, and now I'm just cutting it down to size. Then I found an image online that I liked, that I thought was pretty, and I printed it first on just a piece of plain white paper, just because I wanted to test it and make sure that it was, 1, going to fit on my round, and 2, that it was going to fit on the width of my peel and stick, which it was fine on both counts. So now I can take my peel and stick and I can run it through my printer. Just make sure when you're running it through your printer that it's printing on the correct side. However your printer prints is how you want to make sure you're feeding your peel and stick. You can see that it's very wet. The ink is not going to soak into this like it would printer paper, so I let mine dry overnight. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut out our peel and stick to whatever shape you want. Now I decided, because this was a circle round, that I wanted this to be in a circle shape. And so I started out just kind of measuring it to the shape of the round and then cutting it down, but that that actually didn't work out super great, and I ended up trimming and trimming and trimming. Eventually I got there, but I actually ended up taking the top lid of a container that I had, because it wasn't sent. Oh, here it is. This is a lid to a container that I had, because I couldn't get it centered onto the wooden round. And so I just decided I was just going to do it this way, because this way I could get it centered. And so I just measured this and I just traced around it. I had to do it on the top side instead of the back side, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to center it. But that was okay, because I was cutting it anyway, and I just cut on the inside of the pencil instead of the outside. That way the pencil mark wouldn't show. Now I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to peel and stick it right on my wooden round. I'm going to use my Cricut brayer, my little rolling tool, on this, only because the oils on my hands, I was worried that it was going to smear the ink. The ink is dry, but because this is the first time that I had ever really printed on this peel and stick, I didn't want the oil from my hands smearing it, and so I did use my brayer on this. All right, then what we're gonna do is just add little embellishments. So I decided to take some orange ribbon, and I'm just gonna make a bow that I'm gonna stick here up at the top. And again, you can just kind of make this your own. You can do whatever you really want to do. Colors, you can see I had some yellow ribbon back there, but I decided on the orange. I could have done green, I could have done brown, but I liked the orange, so I decided to go with that. I was going to use hot glue, but I actually decided to use glue dots instead. So I just put a glue dot on there, put my little ribbon down, cut the edges incorrectly on this one the first time, but then went back and fixed it. Oh, gracious. And then I decided it needed just a little something more, just to kind of accent that pretty lemon print. And so I decided to get some twine that I also had from Dollar Tree. And I'm just gonna take my glue dots, and I'm just gonna place the glue dots on my twine, and we're just gonna go around the edge of this peel and stick, and we're just gonna place the twine around the edge of the paper. And I just feel like this kind of enhances or kind of draws attention to the lemons and the pretty print that's on there. And because I have my peel and stick is kind of this hardwood floor, or this kind of wood grain looking design, I think the twine or the rope accent, I think really kind of highlights that and really kind of brings that design of that wood grain out. And so I was really pleased with the way that came out and the way that looked. And again, you can use hot glue if you want to. And actually, what I wish I would have done is I wish I would have taken a lighter and burned the edges of the twine of the rope, so that it didn't have those hard parts, those twiggy parts coming out of it. So I would definitely recommend doing that first. And then this is how it turned out. And look it, I have it on our first project, the wall and floor photo, little photo booth thing that we made, and I think it looks so cute. It turned out great, I think. Number 5. All right, this is just a fun little cute easy one. We're just gonna take these small little plexiglass acrylic photo stands. We're gonna cut out a piece of peel and stick. I used this really pretty kind of golden green one, slide it right in, or you can peel and stick it to the front if you want to. Then I've got this cute little post-it note, looks like a flower. You're gonna take off the back so that the sticky side is sticky. And you're just gonna stick it right to the front, and you can use this next to your desk in your office, and it's really handy. Number 6. All right, so this is my inspiration piece from Pottery Barn, and we're gonna try and recreate it. So I've got a piece of poster board from Dollar Tree. You can use foam board, but I happen to have poster board, and so this is what I used. And I have this gorgeous peel and stick with the birds. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. And I've just been waiting for an opportunity to use it. And so this is the opportunity. And I'm just gonna use 2 pieces next to each other, and I'm just gonna cover this poster board completely in this peel and stick. Oh, it's so pretty. It's got kind of silver metallic in it. That enhances this. You can kind of, well, you can't really see it very well, but it's got metallics in it. It's shimmery. It's so pretty. Now our inspiration piece was more of a square. This is going to be a little bit more of a rectangle, but that's okay. And this is going to be our back, and then I have a mirror that I got from Dollar Tree. Just it's a kind of a plasticky mirror, and obviously we're going to place that in the middle, just like our inspiration piece. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside for a moment. So this is going to be our back piece. Oh, you are going to have some excess, and so just take your X-Acto knife and just trim off the excess that you have. And I saved it just because you never know when you might need a small piece of peel and stick, and so I just took, you know, the backing off of one of the pieces, and I just stuck it back on there just in case I needed it at another time. But trim off the excess. So here's the mirror. It's very pretty, kind of looks like a flower, which I think fits well in with our theme of birds and flowers. All right, now I have 2 frames that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take them apart. And all I want is the actual frame pieces itself. So I'm going to take the glass and the cardboard out. I'm going to remove the little tabs that are in the back, and I'm actually going to take the entire thing apart. And what I'm going to be left with is I'm going to be left with these silver frame pieces. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to build our own frame to fit our new poster board that we've put this peel and stick on. Now, I've never done this before, and I bit off a little bit more than I could chew here, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna be just as easy as, you know, taking these 2 smaller frames and then just putting them back together as one bigger frame. I had not anticipated that there would be so many angles and so many things I needed to cut, and there was like math involved, and I am not good at math, and so if I had to do this over again, what I would do is I would go to Walmart, or I would actually go to a thrift store, maybe Goodwill, or if you're in Utah, a DI, and I would try and find a large frame that I could just repurpose and reutilize and not try and build my own frame. And so I would just try and find an already built frame that was cheap and maybe could repurpose and reutilize from the thrift store and just do it that way. Because this ended up being a lot harder than I thought. And I actually ended up not having enough pieces to cover the entire frame, because once you cut so many angles, you end up losing so much of the frame itself, because you're cutting so many angles and you're losing so much of the frame as you're doing this, that I didn't have enough to actually make a large enough frame to cover the whole thing, which I'll show you what I ended up doing at the end. It worked out fine and I thought it turned out great, but again, learn from my mistakes. Again, crafting, DIY crafting is all about pivoting, trying something new. Oh, it didn't work out. Okay, let's pivot. Let's do something else. Or, you know what? Let's try this a different way. Or that, to me, that's what DIY crafting is all about, is, you know what? I have an idea. I think it's going to work. Let's try it out. And this one, totally, if you are an engineering mathy and you can do this kind of stuff, then this would be totally easy for you. I used a bandsaw to cut this, and so that's how I ended up cutting this frame, and then I used hot glue to glue it to the edges. And so basically that's what I did. And then I took, I ended up having to use super glue to glue the mirror onto the middle. And that actually ended up working really well. But like I said, I didn't have enough frame to cover the whole thing, and so this is what I ended up doing for that. So I ended up taking some flower picks and cutting off the flowers from the end of the flower picks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to really lean into this kind of birds and flowers and leaves, and I'm really going to make over this frame, and I'm going to put, as you can see, I'm going to put some really pretty flower stickers, and I'm going to put those all along the joins so that you can't see where those are. And then I'm going to just kind of make it seem as if, you know, these flower petals have kind of blown off of a tree and they're kind of all over this frame. And then where I was missing that part of the frame, I'm going to take more flowers off of a flower pick, and I'm just going to arrange them just so that they're pretty and they kind of, you know, they match the kind of blue and pink theme that the birds and the flowers have in this pretty peel and stick wallpaper. And I'm just going to hot glue them onto the side. You can see that little piece right there where I didn't have enough frame. And so I'm just going to make kind of my own little, I don't know, my own little piece of frame out of these flowers. Again, I mean, you know, you get to a point in a project where you're like, okay, well, that's not working out, so do I trash it, or do I, you know, do I do something else? Do I get creative? You know, what can I do at this point? So this is how it ended up turning out, which I think it ended up turning out really pretty. I like the flowers. I think it fits with the birds and the twigs, and I think it ended up turning out really pretty. Maybe not exactly like, you know, the inspiration, but all in all, I was really pleased. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you next time.